Today we've decided to have a bit of a rest and recharge day. 6 a.m. alarm aside.
How do you still love me when I look like this?
I don't.
In the last video, I did a tour of the room we've got at this hotel. Is it just me, or do the rooms not quite match the facilities? This high-level pool also has a sauna, steam room, gym and phenomenal views. So there is actually a reason why we chose Thailand as our honeymoon getaway. We were trying to think of different destinations, trying to decide where to go, and we had various options on the table, and then I suggested Thailand, and the reason being is because 24 years ago a company came into my school. I don't know if the company's still going, they're called World Challenge, and they gave our year, I was in year 11 at the time, the option to raise all the money ourselves and go on like a month-long trip on an expedition somewhere. You picked where it was, somewhere around the world, and obviously my parents had to give me permission to go, which they did. In fact, my dad has always kind of said, no matter what opportunities you get in your life, you have to take them with both hands. Very much about hard work, very much about taking opportunities. So I did it. I was 15 years old, and actually being back here has made me realise how amazing it is that they actually let me do that, that they let me go. Like, it's mental. It's shaped my life so much, that trip, that whenever I would travel, or I'd still talk about the trip loads, I'd always be like, I went to Thailand when I was 15, and Dan would always be like, oh my God, you went to Thailand? Oh my God, I didn't realise. Annoying, but also fair. But yeah, it shaped me so much as a person, genuinely. And so when we were looking at honeymoon destinations, I was like, do you know what I'm going to put on the table? I would flipping love to go back to Thailand so much, and to see it as an adult. And Bangkok was completely different when I went. Anyway, so Dan was up for it, which is amazing. So that is why we came to Thailand. Obviously, it's gorgeous to come on honeymoon and to see it with Dan, but for me, it's like nostalgic. It's quite nostalgic, and like a little nod to my original trip. Yes. I get disproportionately excited about a hotel breakfast. I just find them really fun. This one is exceptional. Noodles for breakfast, yes. Oats with candied ginger. And tofu, which Dan's very excited to try, aren't you, Dan? Hang on, he's thinking about it.
Oh.
Okay then. Trying desperately to stretch my insufferably painful back out, holding out hope. As previously mentioned, Dan has done everything for this trip. I said, should we go to Thailand? And then my involvement pretty much ended there. I actually also said that I really wanted to do a sleeper train, which is what we're doing tomorrow. He's literally done everything for two reasons. First of all, Dan loves planning. He planned our wedding from start to finish. I don't want to deprive him of that joy. Secondly, I've been really busy with work, but it's mainly just because he loves the spreadsheet. He's really good at it. So I was like, be my guest, babes, you go for it. In light of his planning prowess, today he has booked, because it's like day 2, today he's booked for us to go to a spa. It's a Japanese onsen, which is a Japanese spa in Bangkok. Hour and a half massage. Sign me up. I've been pretty desperate to go to Japan for years, and to be honest, this place only added to that. The traditional onsen we were about to discover means men and women are separate, and the men enjoy the onsen as naked as the day they were born. Dan didn't seem fazed by this at all, and actually felt quite thrilled for the opportunity to let everything go, from his inhibitions to his pants. Life. Look at this place. My life, this has got me written all over it. How stunning is this? An onsen is a suite of baths which vary in temperature and in contents. Oh my gosh, I don't know what they are, but I want one. Whilst it wasn't very Thai, it was very Japanese, and it was very enjoyable. Our favourite was the Japanese tea bath, which contained hot, yellow bubbling water, which did look a little bit like urine, but which is meant to be really good for calorie burning and toxin banishing, so we could get past the aesthetics. For the first time in my life, I did a cold water plunge. The first time I did it at the onsen, it was actually so painful, but then a lovely Thai lady talked me through it. Up until this point, she'd been speaking to me at length anyway about how she used to live in San Francisco for years, and how she had a grandson called Ronnie. Regarding the cold plunge though, she told me that the freezing water tells your body to fight back, so it actually helps make your body strong and resilient, and helps build immunity. I've just had a couples massage, and it was absolutely insane. I think I've got a sleep crease. I fell asleep. I snored myself awake twice. Embarrassing. It was 90 minutes. I've never had a massage that was 90 minutes long. It was incredible. Incredible slash, I was like, oh, well, I'll go for medium. It was a deep tissue. I'll go for medium strength. Flipping heck. She bent me around like gymnastic Barbie, except this gymnastic Barbie will not be bent because I've got sciatica and a terrible back. However, she kept being like, relax into it. I was like, I mean, easy for you to say, but I'm talking that she was stood on my persons and then she'd like wrap herself around me like a pretzel and then pull, and my back would be like, and it would all like crack. And Dan was obviously in the room next to me, and his masseuse said, would you like traditional Thai massage? He was like, absolutely not, I've just heard what Rachel's back's done. I was like, cheers, hon. We got the BTS, Bangkok's train network, which is elevated above the city, to Chinatown and the surrounding areas, including Bangkok's famous flower market. This felt way less built up and developed, but in the greatest way. These neighbourhoods were way more historic and authentic to Asian lifestyle. But still, the areas felt clean and the air smelt fresh, and were just generally a million miles away from the Bangkok I experienced at the age of 15. I much prefer these types of areas of a city over gentrified areas any day. The streets tell stories of where the city started and how it's going. This is where you'll experience old Bangkok. There are still hints of gentrification though. This coffee shop had seemingly been designed with Instagram in mind, and whilst their coffee was good, you couldn't move influencers doing full shoots with photographers, which is a wildly hypocritical observation given that I'm a photographer and I was taking footage for my YouTube video. I'll tell you who wasn't though, and that was Dan, who felt incredibly uncomfortable around all the influencers and asked to leave several times, which obviously I delighted in and really dragged my coffee out because of it. There's a stark contrast between some of the homes in Bangkok which sit next to their religious temples, which are called wats. But I say this is a stark contrast by whose standards? My observation comes from a place of Western privilege. I'm used to living in a country where money talks and where homes and possessions are deemed as a reflection of success. It's about to absolutely pour it down. And from that highly profound reflection on the meaning of life, on success, on money and on homes, here's a less profound one. I cannot drink a bottle of beer, physically cannot do it without doing this. Every time. No. Okay, we are braving the rain and the thunder and the lightning, walking to the flower market. Dan decided to just risk it with the thunder and lightning. But if we get struck, we've had a great time. We've had a lovely life. Godspeed. We happened upon this restaurant along the river and it became my favourite of the trip so far. Granted, we are only on day 2. Just enjoy this moment though. Music, the setting, the water, the sunset. It was a little bit like the universe was saying, hello you two, you're in Thailand, enjoy. And you know what? We flipping well did.
It's really warm. You hate it.
Oh, it smells amazing. Chicken and shrimp with cashews and coconuts. No, pineapple.
There's no coconuts.
There's literally zero coconuts here. I am going to say that has been my favourite meal so far. Yeah.
That's nice. That's only because this meal you've had rice and transported you back 24 years to a young 15-year-old Rachel Whittaker.
He's wrong. That was the best meal we've ever had. He doesn't even know what day it is. We'd literally finished our meal. Dan was like, we're near the ferry station, let's just go and get on the ferry. So we did exactly that. She was like, where to? And we like stuck a pin in a map. Dan was like, I don't know. So we have no idea where we are, but we're having a lovely time. The architecture on display in Bangkok is absolutely mind-boggling, to use a highly sophisticated phrase. If you're into architecture like I am, and by being into architecture, I mean that I look at a building and think, oh, that's nice. What a jazzy design with all those bricks and all that glass. Lovely. Then you, like I, will appreciate all the nice and lovely buildings. At the M25 on here today. Flipping heckers. Look how busy it is. You know when you get a wet flannel and you lie on your face? That is how our clothes feel right now. Extremely moist, sticking to our bodies. Back on the BTS we did venture. That was another 11 out of 10 day. Tomorrow it's time to hit the jungle.